Killing Eve, a show that had great potential, but unfortunately fell into a deep, dark, sunken hole of nothingness. I was actually a huge fan of the show when it was first released. I thought the first season was great, entertaining, quick, and a breeze to get through. It establishes the unhealthy obsession both Eve and Villanelle have for each other. It's an undesirable parasitic relationship. These two women are never meant to be together. A lot of people ship them together, and I'm all here for queer representation, but the woman is a literal psychopath. She's not in love with Eve, and she never will be. The bad. The first 2 seasons of the show were great. The writers had an idea of where they wanted to go, but it gets a little muddy in season 2. But my god, when we get to seasons 3 and 4, it just goes downhill so fast. In the opening of season 3, after shooting Eve at the end of season 2, Villanelle is in Spain getting married to some random woman for no reason. I understand she likes to play with her toys, but to go as far as marriage, you've got to be joking. Season 3 also introduced Dasha, Villanelle's former mentor, who crashes her wedding, causing a ridiculous scene. It's so left field and utterly pointless. I don't care about this random wedding. This series introduces a bunch of random characters nobody cares about. Then at the end of the season 3 opener, we find out that Kenny is actually dead. He's written off the show and turned into some cheap murder mystery for Eve to solve since she was close with him. Surprise. Turns out Constantine went to see Kenny in order to recruit him for the 12 in order to protect him since Kenny was investigating them and getting too close. But apparently, Kenny got too scared and fell off the roof. It's so stupid because this leads nowhere. Carolyn doesn't end up shooting Constantine, so it does not matter. Carolyn kills Paul instead. Season 3 ends with no major character dying except for Paul and Dasha, the characters introduced this season, so there's no point to them having been conceived just to be killed off after 8 episodes. Eve and Villanelle swear off each other and go their separate ways. Now, onto the worst season I've ever witnessed. Season 4. Some time has passed now since season 3, and for some reason, Villanelle, the psychopath we know right, decides to try and redeem herself and turns to religion. But like we've seen in real life, turning to religion does not automatically make you a good person. This season was a whole mess. I hate it. 2 episodes are dedicated to this side mission, only for it to lead nowhere because of course Villanelle will never change. She's a cold-blooded killer, no matter how much the show tries to romanticize her. It really tries to tell us that this woman who's committed horrible crimes is trying to change because the woman she was infatuated with in season 1 doesn't want anything to do with her. But this all gets thrown out the window in the final episode, where they reconcile and finally kiss. I hate the relationship so much, especially in the later seasons because it's clear that the writers just gave up trying to do something interesting between them and just said, whatever, just make them kiss and then they can forgive us for this terrible ending. But after all that, the 12 are finally together, meeting on a boat to discuss whatever nonsense they want to talk about. Eve and Villanelle have made it. Now, we finally get to see the 12, the infamous group at the center of this entire show. The people giving the orders, the people who run it. Well, actually, we don't meet them at all. Villanelle just decides to get rid of them in the most boring way possible. These 4 seasons meant nothing. The build-up, nowhere to be found. This ending was desperately rushed, and I haven't even gone to the worst part yet. After the 12 is no more, Eve and Villanelle meet, only for Villanelle to get shot, and she dies while sinking to the bottom of the Thames River. I'm not mad about Villanelle dying. I think it was meant to happen, but my god, they really couldn't have done a more ridiculous ending. She gets sniped by Carolyn and just falls in the river and dies as Eve screams in anguish. I don't know if you know this, but I hate this season. It's such a terrible ending. This season was a nothing burger, truly. It's been 3 years since the show ended and I still refuse to watch the show. I just know I'm going to be disappointed. The good. The soundtrack. My favorite part of this show is the soundtrack. Unloved did an amazing job. It captures the show so well. I have a playlist dedicated to some of my favorite songs. I've Been Thinking About Her, Bill, Danger, and Boy and Girl are some of my favorites. The acting. Sandra Oh and Jodie Comer truly make the show happen. Same with Fiona Shaw. I love her character. Those 3 truly held down the seasons for me. The charisma. Although Villanelle is a complete lunatic, she's cunning, charming even. She's entertaining. The first season does a good job of balancing Villanelle's dangerous and comedic side. She's as unserious as you can get. But when she's in work mode, she never lets you down. She's reckless and unstable, but she's an interesting character to watch. I think the later seasons completely ruin her since they try to make her appeal more family friendly per se, so they can establish a relationship between Eve and Villanelle. Their relationship. As you know, I hate these two together. Villanelle and Eve are never meant to actually be together. They have an unhealthy obsession with one another, and season 1 establishes this dynamic at the end where they confess their feelings. But Eve, feeding into her conflicting feelings of liking the danger that comes to Villanelle, with her duty to avenge her friend and do her job, ends up stabbing Villanelle, only to just immediately regret her decision. Over the seasons, we get a peek at Eve slipping into the dark side, with her getting rid of Raymond and attacking Dasha. She only relishes danger when it matters. But going as far as to tease us with a relationship is crazy. They do not belong together. It'll never work. Forming a romantic relationship between these two ruins the allure. They start off as complete opposites, only to slowly form into one another and interchange some of their personality traits. Villanelle tries to better herself, and Eve feeds into the devil on her shoulder, slowly feeding into the darkness that surrounds her. She's suffocated by Villanelle's presence. It should have been her breaking out of the mold, and I think it would have made a stronger ending if Eve was the one who ended up killing Villanelle to get her out of her life for good. I mean, it's fair game considering all the bad things Villanelle has done. She killed Bill, one of Eve's good friends. She shot Eve and nearly killed her more times than one. Villanelle's mentor nearly kills Nico, Eve's husband. She just ruined her entire life. It works as a sour relationship, but as romantic, I don't think so. Obviously, you can explore this dynamic in more detail with more episodes, but I just do not like them together. Based on what the show offers, I just don't see it. I can't see someone like Villanelle living in bliss with a wife. She's just too chaotic. I had really high hopes for the show, but once Phoebe Waller-Bridge left the writer's room, I knew it wasn't going to be the same, and it truly wasn't. I haven't seen Fleabag in full, but I've seen clips and the writing is pretty great, which is probably why season 1 is such a strong opener. Unfortunately, the later writers just could not match the energy the first season had. This show's downfall was, I guess you could say, like the 8 episode time slots. You do not have enough time to develop a large plot and your characters in 8 episodes a season, especially when you waste it on nonsense that does not matter and leads nowhere. The shock value of Kenny's death goes nowhere, he's just gone. Eve and Villanelle's romantic relationship leads to its end only for it to go nowhere. They really had Villanelle doing the most random shit possible, like why the hell was she at church camp? The camp provided absolutely nothing for 2 episodes that made me lose my mind. My time was wasted, but the covers were gorgeous, I have to admit. While Killing Eve had the potential to become a lovable series, bad writing never ends in a good product, and it's apparent in seasons 3 and 4. Okay, but thank you guys for watching this video, and I know it was very short. I just really wanted to rant about this show because I have so many thoughts about it. But I would really love to hear your guys' thoughts on how you think season 4 did in terms of like wrapping up the entire show, because I think it's truly one of the most horrendous seasons I've ever seen on television, and I'm comparing that to season 6 of Teen Wolf and season 4. I think season 4 and season 6 are up there with season 4 of Killing Eve. But I will see you guys in the next video whenever that comes out. I know I've been slacking a lot on videos and uploads. I'm very sorry, but I really just wanted to rant about this show while I had it in my mind. I actually wrote this a long time ago. I just never got down to filming it because I didn't know if I wanted to do it on camera or off camera, and I decided to do it off camera because it's easier. So anyways, I will see you guys later. But thanks for watching, and I would love to hear your thoughts. Anyways, bye.